Hey, welcome to today's practice, Sadhana, dealing with our root center, Muladhara, original, loyal, primordial. As we deal with this center or chakra, dealing with our fears and bringing forth a new sense of self, a new sense of truth. Fears can be known, unknown. They can come at birth from other lifetimes. They can be created in this lifetime. And this is just a way for me to help you translate through some of the fear that you might be feeling at this time. If you have a big book or hopefully a yoga block, that would be very, very helpful. Also, maybe a block can also serve as this or a soft blanket as we do a couple things in seated position. So if you could come to your Sukhasana, comfortable seat, cross-legged on a block. It's also called three-point pose. Point of the glutes and the outsides of our knees. The hips should be elevated above the knees. So cross-legged. If you're really super flexy and can hold lotus or half lotus for a little while, you're more than welcome to do that. If not, cross-legged is just fine. So as you find this place, hips are elevated above your knees, so possibly seated on something. Allow yourself to come and close your eyes. As you close your eyes, tune in to how you're feeling. Always remember that nobody beside yourself can give you this true answer. Maybe there are some people in the universe that know you as well as yourself, maybe even a little bit better. But part of yoga is coming within ourself, to ourself, right? What is it? It's the yoga journey through the self, of the self, to the self, something like that. But either way, it's the self with the self. We gather in community with others, but as one of my mentors said, right, even if we're in community, it's about ourselves. These 4 lines of our mat space, dealing with this, the mind, this, the heart, this power center, and the root center is actually the genitals, the sexual organs, right, where we came into this world, how we came into this world, just since it's right at the top of my head right now. It said, right, if you're birthed through the birth canal, have a little bit more grounding, a little bit more self-power, a little bit more girth, I'll just say. It said C-section babies are just kind of lifted up and out of life. They're given help from the very first few breaths, right? They don't have to go through that process of actually finding their way out into the world. Instead, they're lifted, right? So, and that was one of my thoughts today. I am lighter would be a good mantra for this practice, at least how I'm feeling. I am lighter. I am doing this practice. I will add a couple of things with one of my teachers down in Sedona for 30 days straight, early in the morning. And I brought up Sankalpa and Resolve. If you've watched my Yoga Nidras, mantra is, I guess, another way that you could say it, or we say it maybe in a normal yoga practice. So my Sankalpa for my 30-day sadhana, which also means practice, is healing my femur and weight loss. Because I feel like I probably lost over probably 50% of my muscle and density and what was muscle is turning to fat, and none of it feels good. And that's just candid, raw, real, right here, right now. I'm not projecting that onto you. But for maybe today, the sadhana, maybe it's the practice that you continue to do for 30 days and challenge yourself to do something for 30 days and keep yourself accountable doing something for 30 days. But just for the collective, for whomever decides to watch this in this present current time, April 9th, 2020, the mantra around this practice, I am lighter. I am lighter. I am lighter. And if you feel light, then I am light while still staying grounded here and present. So with this comfortable seat, eyes are still closed. If you ever practice the 26 and 2, you begin and end with breath. We'll begin and end with breath here. These breaths are used as cleanses. So instead of doing an actual yogic cleanse, by way, I mean of the neti pot or scraping your tongue or the eye wash or the tooth wash or kunjal or any of these things, what's really accessible to all of us without tools besides the tool of our body is just our breath. So starting with the 3-part breath, inhale, navel, chest, sternum. Exhale, sternum, chest, navel. Inhale, even though you start to feel that lightness, the inhale moves downward. And as you exhale, think about grounding, even though the breath moves upwards. So in this moment, take the time to do the simple change of breath. Inhale, navel to sternum, collarbone, throat. Exhale, throat, collarbone, sternum, chest, navel. Feel the influx and the outflux of breath expanding. And maybe it challenges you to notice that my breath is shallow today, that my breath is deep today, that normally it is balanced, but today it feels deeper or lighter or off in this way. 3-part breath. Inhale, expand. Exhale, contract. Well, I offered up the sternum, the collarbone, and the throat as the 3rd part of the breath, is sometimes we can't reach all the way up to the throat. Sometimes we're in a period of anger or anxiety or who knows what, where we just can't take anything else on. That is the definition of the inhale, taking in, taking on, accepting. The exhale, releasing, letting go, release of burden, saying I am going to be lighter. So now keep going with your 3-part breath. As you begin with your 3-part breath, right, inhale and exhale, start to just expand it up towards the crown energetically. Some of us will be able to feel this expansion physically, but energetically, I want you to now allow yourself to feel up to the 3rd eye center, up to the crown. And what I'd like you to do is actually move above the crown about 3 inches or so and start to create that space. Start to feel into that space and start to notice a white or a golden light. So in this space, we connect with our higher centers. We connect with all of the teachers within this present moment and all those who came before us last week, last month, last year, 10,000 years ago. Remembering that there's so many lineages, and yoga is an ancient practice of health. Yoga is a science of the body, the mind, and the soul. Yoga helps us out of spiritual bankruptcy. Yoga keeps us within the now while accessing ancient tools. So as you breathe Breathe in all of the wisdom, the knowledge of those who came before us, and then bring it in to your current reality, your current presence, and your current awareness. With an exhale, letting that practice go, and then we'll move on to Kapalabhati. So Kapalabhati is the skull shining breath. It is also a gut pump. In some practices, it'll be through the nose only. This is going to be an inhale which is not seen, heard. It's almost unknown, right? Because it's not heard, but it's a forceful exhale that is heard. So the two parts that you really want to keep tactile, notice, aware within this breath exercise and cleanse is your third eye, because it's skull shining, right? So you're actually imagining the exhale pumping out a light of breath from that third eye, and also the gut, right? Because you're using that to snap back to the spine. So Kapalabhati sounds like this. And so as we deal with the gut, that color is actually yellow. As we deal with the third eye, that color is usually a dark purple. It behooves you, that's one of my favorite words of lately, to have some tissue around if you feel stuffed up or if you're really detoxing your nasal passages at this moment, just in case anything comes up where you need to stop for a moment and wipe your nose. So we'll begin with 3 rounds of 50 of this breath. And in between your 3 rounds of 50, go ahead and take 1 or 2 breaths of normalcy. So what you started with, your long, slow, deep breathing, 3-part breath, navel to throat, sternum, or collarbone. So exhaling all the breath out of the lungs, and begin first round, 3 rounds on your own. If you're not finished, take a couple moments to finish your 3 rounds of 50. If you didn't get there, no worries, right? So there's so many teachers that can teach you about myth. So I'm not usually one of those. One thing that I do teach you is that perfection is a myth. So we're trying to get to the times and the numbers that I give you. These may or these may not be possible. All of the shoulds, the wants, and the have-tos, those are going to increase self-pity, self-loathing, self-focus, self-hate, and keep bringing you on down. So release the shoulds, the have-tos, and the wants while you are in your practice. Do yourself a favor and do me a favor. All right, so moving on to Muladhara, the activation of the root center. So this is a tightening of the anal and the urethral sphincters. It's the perineum for men, the cervix for women. I usually say it in classes as the whole pelvic floor, but you're thinking about the anal and urethral sphincters tightening and then letting go. So we're going to tighten on our exhales and we're going to relax on our inhales. So turning our palms up, take a deep inhale in. And then as you exhale, tighten the anal sphincter, urethral sphincter, whole pelvic floor, make fists, gather your thumb and the four fingers, hold. And then inhale, let go, relax. Exhale, make fists, tighten the whole pelvic floor. Make that center shake. Feel your hip flexors, even your glutes, maybe all the way down your thighs to your knees. Inhale, let it go. One more practice. Exhale, allow yourself to tighten the anal, urethral sphincters, perineum for men, cervix for women. Hold. And then as you inhale, let it go. Now 9 times on your own. Inhale, you relax, and then exhale, you tighten. As you reach 9 times, you're letting it go, and always remember that you have your preference or choice to keep your eyes hooded, which is slightly open. Gaze 2 to 3 feet on the floor in front of you, or eyes fully closed and relaxed as you practice. And remember, as we close the eyes, we allow ourselves to remove or take away sensation, right? Move away from these sensations, the exposures of the external world, pratyahara, sense withdrawal, so we can actually feel whether we're actually activating or whether we may be dull and completely disconnected from that center. I always have to come back to these root center practices very bluntly because I don't have a great relationship with my mom, and so I have a really hard time connecting to my source of birth. So therefore, I always have to come back to these root center practices for grounding and to realize once again why I am here. So coming into child's pose. So wide knee child's pose, toes touching, knees are wide. Arms are extended out in front of you, and hopefully your third eye can touch. I totally have compassion and empathy. If this is a hard pose for you, you can always do kneeling or any modification of your choice if child's pose is not comfortable. If you are in child's pose and your ribs are inside your thighs, please start to begin to move the rib cage right and left just slightly. As this opens up the femur bones, externally rotates the femur and allows the sacroiliac joint, i.e. more simply the sacrum and the lower back, to start to open. Alright, so coming to 4-point pose, or your tabletop pose as we know it, on all fours. So thinking about, please go ahead and actually turn your toes under so you start to stretch out the bottoms of the feet. So here, please begin. Inhale, rise the spine up, angry cat. Exhale, pull back to your heels. Inhale, spine is still lifted. Exhale, belly to the floor. 9 rounds. Inhale, rise the spine. Exhale, pull back towards your heels. Inhale, back, shoulders over wrists. Exhale, belly to the floor. Inhale, spine rises. Exhale, glutes press back towards the heels. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, allow the belly to lower. 6 more rounds. Nice slow translations, nice deep breathing, warming up your spine. And as you're ready, child's pose, knees wide, toes are touching. And then allow yourself to sit back once again. Tick-tock, rib cage moves back and forth, right and left in between the thighs. Releasing the femur bones a little bit more open, translating to the hips, and then allowing your lower back to open. Coming forward to your choice, either pranam, hand stacked underneath the forehead, or on your right ear. I asked for 1 yogic block. If you happen to have 2, you can come to a pranam with the blocks underneath the shoulders and touching third eye, chin gently tucked towards the chest, tops of the feet, and long, slow, deep breathing. Exhale. If you need to move the blocks closely out of the way and arrange yourself for Bhujangasana or Cobra. So feet can be fully together, and notice that you feel the big toe and also the outer toe pressing into the floor. Hands by your side ribs, fingertips underline the shoulders. Chin is gently tucked, third eye on the floor. Activate your legs now, please, at this time. Inhale, lift up to Bhujangasana, Cobra posture, doing the very best you can to keep the tops of the feet on your mat space. We're getting into our mid-lower back space here, striking Cobra, heart forward. And we're really firing up our kidneys, right? So if you were to place the back of the hand to the middle back, you should feel all those muscles of the back firing up. Use your hands to lift you a little bit higher. Exhale, lower your way down, toes in, heels out, arms by your sides, and breathe. Round 2 of 3, so legs together or hips width apart. Chin on the floor, third eye touching, fingertips underlying the shoulders, hands by your side ribs. Activate the legs, press the tops of the feet into the floor. Feel even the pinky toes into the floor. Exhale. On your inhale, lift once again with your back strength and your back strength only. So really here, allow yourself to feel all the back muscles fire up. Glutes are engaged, thighs are engaged. Core is engaged. You feel it breathing on the floor. Calves, tops of the feet pressing to the floor. Use your hands to lift you a little bit higher. Exhale, lower down, opposite ear, toes in, heels out, arms by your sides. And third round, fingertips underline the shoulders, hands by your side ribs, legs together all the way to the toes, press into the tops of the feet. Exhale. On your inhale, lift up with your back strength only. Hold here for 10, 9, 8, press into the tops of the feet, engage the legs, engage the glutes, get some hip work here. Feel the pelvic floor, engage the Mula Bandha, press into the hands, lift up a little bit, exhale, lower it down, opposite ear, toes in, heels out, and then arms by your sides. Knowing nothing is forever, you can allow yourself to know that you are safe in the times that you practice. Always move to the boundary of first resistance. If you move and press into a point of pain, you have gone beyond that boundary. Sit with the first boundary of resistance, and when that resistance becomes calm, that's when you move a little bit deeper. All right, so from here, go ahead and press over the knees back towards your child's pose. So as we move through our sun salutation, when we have a chance to quote flow, you can do one of two things. First one, spinal flex. So you can drop your knees and breathe a couple of rounds. The second one is Ashtanga Pranam. So Ashtanga Pranam, also known as knees, chest, and chin. You come from downward facing dog and drop your knees. Hands are forward of your shoulders. And then you lower your chest down. And then you lift your way up to baby cobra where we just were. And then allow yourself to press back, downward facing dog. If you need more fire, then you're going to come through your regular four-limbed staff pose, Chaturanga Dandasana, and then back to your downward facing dog. Allow yourself to have preference and choice, minding that actually the fourth choice would be just staying in downward facing dog. Remember, do what's right for you. If you have wrist issues, make sure that you only do your spinal flexion, or if it's even not too much, just stay in downward facing dog. All right, so from here, coming to the top of your mat space. As you come to the top of your mat space, allow yourself to stand up. As you stand up, let's go ahead and get the soles of the feet working and grounding for us. So, as you inhale, lift all 4 points of the feet. Soft bend through your knees, and then allow yourself to relax your toes down. So lift up one more time. Feel the 4 points of the feet underneath the big toe, pinky toe, either side of the heel. And then lower all 10 toes back to the mat space. You'll see me doing some modifications. They may or may not be for you, and you can fire it up a little bit more if you need to. Inhale, arms rise up and overhead. Try to stick with it with the pace. Exhale, forward fold. Go ahead and now step your left leg back. There are no halfway lifts in this. So now you're in a low lunge pose as you drop the back left knee. Allow yourself to start walking back towards your heel and then forward to rebend into that front knee. 3 to 5 rounds, start to walk it back and then walk it back forward. Start to lubricate, warm up those hips, sitting your way back and then drawing your way back forward. Sitting back, drawing forward. If you're using blocks like me, maybe switch them to the lowest level. Tuck your left toes, step back, downward facing dog. Now here's your choice. Hold down dog, drop your knees, spinal flexion, knees, chest and chin, or come through Chaturanga Dandasana. And Adho Mukha Savasana, downward facing dog. Left foot steps forward, right knee drops. Anjayanasana, low lunge. Start to sit your way back and then move your way back forward. Allow yourself to move as your hips will allow. So one thing that I did a lot before my femur break is I had to go deep. I had to go so deep, right? So I was always often beyond that barrier of first resistance, because sometimes I think as teachers we have that sort of, we need to look pretty, that expectation, right? That we need to look the part all the time, no matter how our body is feeling. Students as well, right? So take out the shoulds, the have-tos, and the wants. Here, there is no step back. You tuck your right toes, and then you step forward. Right foot meets left. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, rise and lift to stand. Exhale, hands to your heart space, and release your exhale. Inhale, arms rise up. Exhale, forward fold. Left leg steps back, left knee drops down. Hands come to rise to the right knee. So here you can be deeper in the hips, or you can be finding your 90-degree angles. Every exhale that you can, utilizing your new or old tool of Muladhara, allowing yourself to really engage that anal sphincter, your urethral sphincter, and every inhale you relax. Hands come to the blocks or to the floor, left toes tuck, and downward facing dog. Option to stay, spinal flex, or knees, chest, and chin, or full chaturanga. Meeting back in Adho Mukha Savasana, downward facing dog. Left foot steps forward, right knee drops. And now hands come to your left knee. So 90-degree angles, or you can be going deeper into those hip flexors. Make sure you're breathing if you can. Exhale, Muladhara. Inhale, relax, right? That's the part of the breath that makes the body feel safe as we relax. Hands come to the floor as you're ready. Right foot steps to meet the left. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, rise and lift, palms touch. Exhale, hands at heart center. Coming back to neutral as quick as you possibly can. Inhale, arms come to rise up. Exhale, forward bend. We're switching. Right leg steps its way back. Stay in high lunge base. From here, come halfway up. So align your biceps at your ears and keep reaching your fingertips forward. Activate both legs, and then on your inhale, rise to your high lunge pose and holds. Exhale, hands come down on either side of the foot. Left foot steps back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Your choice, stay. Spinal flex, Ashtanga Pranam, which is knees, chest, and chin, or Chaturanga. Exhale breath leads you back to Adho Mukha Savasana, downward facing dog. Right leg steps forward. I have to modify here. You keep your back, left knee high. So from here, allow yourself to come halfway up. Biceps at your ears. Hold. Fire it up here. Fire it up. Fire it up. Keep reaching, fingertips to left heel. And then inhale all the way up into your high lunge. Keep reaching. Every exhale, Mula Bandha. One more deep inhale. Exhale, hands come to lower to the floor. And then step your left foot forward to meet the right. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands come to your heart center, and then release your breath. Inhale, arms rise up. Exhale, forward bend. Right leg steps back. Inhale immediately to your high lunge pose. Right hand outside the left knee, left arm behind you to the right hip. See if you can start looking beyond your left shoulder. Twist, twist, more twist. Twist, inhale, rise up, high lunge. Exhale, hands to the floor. Left leg steps back, downward facing dog. Stay here. Drop your knees for spinal flexion. Come through Ashtanga Pranam or Chaturanga Dandasana. Exhale, N2. Back in your Adho Mukha Savasana, downward facing dog. Right leg steps forward. Inhale, rise up to your high lunge pose. Allow yourself to hold here. As you hold here, you twist. Right arm comes behind you to your left hip, and your left hand to the outside of the right knee. Keep twisting, keep twisting, keep twisting more, keep twisting more. More. Hands come up. Exhale. Hands drop down either side of the right foot. Step back. Downward facing dog. Now step forward. One foot followed by the other. Exhale. Uttanasana. Forward fold. Forward fold. Inhale. Rise and lift. Exhale, hands come through heart center, and then shoulders back and down. So, moving into exploration of Virabhadrasana, you probably know Warrior 2. So, especially if we have an addictive personality at all, we want to extrovert, we want to go exponentially and keep moving outward of everything that's other than ourself. So, oftentimes in vinyasa classes, we have a tendency to move fast, to keep going, keep going, keep going. That keeps charging the mind, right? And keeps us unpredictable, keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. So when we hold poses, we start to deal with what's really inside. So right foot steps forward, left foot steps back. Align yourself for warrior 2, shoulders over your hips. Inhale, arms draw up, straighten your front leg, and take a few rounds on your own to allow yourself to inhale, straighten the front leg, get some length, feel your rib stretch. Exhale, release into the pose. Inhale, you rise. Exhale, exhale, exhale. Allow yourself to find your base pose. Find your base pose, and then allow yourself to soften. Slightly bend your elbows as you turn the palms up as if you're holding 2 platters. Maybe look back, make sure that your back arm is straight out of the back shoulder, and then return your gaze over the right middle finger. Turn your palms down. Soft shoulders, right? So notice if you have a mirror especially, are your shoulders over your hips? If your shoulders are and you're reaching forward, right, that's our eager warrior. If the shoulders are set back behind your hips, that's the resistant warrior. What are you resisting? Or what are you eager to get to or out of, right? Try to be that patient warrior where you stay with your shoulders over your hips. As you inhale, the pose actually relaxes. As you exhale, start to activate Muladhara. Inhale, allow everything to relax, maybe grow deeper. Exhale, activate, 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 using your floor as your base, right, as your stability. Inhale, you relax. Exhale. Exhale, send the breath. The prana flows where the energy goes, right? So if your shoulders are starting to talk, breathe there. Surround it with the safe breath. If your hip flexors are starting to talk, same thing. Same thing with the front knee. We're all going to have different activations here. Different traumas, different situations have set in our body as different places, as different people, as we're all our own original carbon copy. If you can, set a little bit deeper, more into that front knee. Keep holding. And then on your exhale, release. Turn your right toes in and your left toes out. So now same thing, a couple of breaths to move into it. Inhale to your exhale. Grow your breath a little bit deeper. Grow your base a little bit deeper. I have the quality of strength. I have the quality of security. I have the quality of no fear. As I practice, even if heavy things come up, I am lighter. If I'm light, I stay aware and grounded through my feet. Set your front knee. Turn your palms up like you're holding those platters and allow yourself to soften your shoulders and your elbows. Allowing yourself to now turn the palms back down, directed look over your left middle finger. Remember, shaking is good. It balances the central nervous system. If you feel yourself starting to freak out, allow yourself to tune into the breath. If you even need more direction, then inhale, you're relaxing. Exhale, pulling up the Muladhara, activating that root center space. Your inhale relaxes. Allow yourself to really surround those places that start talking with breath. Allow yourself to move inward without fear, rather than come out of the pose in fear, right? That barrier of first resistance. Even if you need to come out and straighten that front knee, arms back up and overhead, challenge yourself to try again, right? You're not going to die. Even though this pose may tell you that you're going to die right here, right now, you're not going to die, right? You're just going to allow yourself to keep holding, keep breathing. You're not eager and forward to get somewhere. You're not back and resistant to do this pose. You are patiently here waiting, wanting, with choice, and that you are here in your yoga practice. And the good want is that you want to hold this pose. You want to accept the challenge. If it's all too much and you know it, and you know that's your truth, then go ahead and come out. Keep holding. Keep holding. Go a little bit deeper into that front knee. Go a little bit deeper into that front knee. And now release. Coming up and out here. And then start to walk your feet together. Center of the mat space. Turn towards the front of your mat space. Come kneeling on your mat, legs out to the side. So those extroverters and those doers, if you're still in the need to, want to, have to, all of that type of stuff, you could flow here. But what this stability and root grounding practice calls for is an interim Savasana. So coming to lie down on your back. As you come to lie down on your back, you can always have a blanket to cover up, or with the knowing that you're not here for very long, just commit. Commit, commit. Anything you commit to, you are never lost. Begin to move through your fingers and through your toes, through your wrists and through your ankles. Inhale, full body stretch up and overhead. Please draw your knees into your chest. Remember, you can always just start to gently rock on the spine, right and left, right and left. Some of us may want to fall to the side and then push up to seated. If you would like to work with the spine a little bit deeper, then cross your ankles, kick up, and grab behind your knees to rock back and forth, maybe about 3 rounds. And allow yourself to rock up to seated or possibly standing. Please at this time go ahead and grab your book or grab your block. Wide angle, forward fold. So walk your feet wider than your mat. And here, so from this side, we're using our block, right? So we stay basically parallel with the floor. We're not going way deep yet. I'll give you time to do that at the end. So whatever level of the block for you to stay aware with me and front body parallel to the floor. So from here, looking at your feet, if you work with me in 26 and 2, your toes are in and your heels are out, not vice versa. So inhale, you're thinking about, once again, relaxing. As you exhale, you're trying to really engage Muladhara and rip the mat in 2. So before we start with that energetic breath, which sometimes takes a couple of times before it really makes sense, let's warm up with a little bit of hip flexion. As you exhale, elbow points bend back. Inhale, rise back up to your flat spine. Exhale, you can always keep a soft bend in your knees if you need to. Inhale, rise and straighten your arms. Exhale, exhale, lower. Inhale, inhale, rise. Let's now pause and then begin. So on your inhale, you release. On your exhale, engage, engage, engage pelvic floor. Feel like you're ripping the mat away. Inhale, relax, release. Exhale, engage Muladhara. Really try to rip the floor apart. You're supposed to feel more engagement, possibly more core engagement here, possibly. Inhale, release. About 9 more times. And maybe one more breath or so. And then once you're ready, if you want to go really deep, right, you can always allow yourself to grab the outsides of the feet. You can have a small bend in your knee. You can just bring your forearms to the block on any level. And now breathe into your folds. And then there was breath and only breath. When you come to resistance, fear in your practice, remember to come back to the breath. All right, find your way through kneeling. And then once again into your interim Savasana as quickly as you possibly can. And beginning to wiggle your fingers and your toes, move through your wrists and through your ankles. On your inhale, arms rise up and overhead, full stretch, and then draw your knees into your heart space. As you draw your knees into your heart space, gently rock from side to side, not all the way over, just feeling out either side of the lower back, each kidney. And then you can roll to the side and then up or grab behind your knees. Once again, rock forward and back. Super good for the synovial fluid of the spine. And then rock your way up to seated or maybe even standing. If you didn't rock up to standing, once again at this time, come to stand. So from here, you can choose to use the block. And we're going to come into our practice of Agnisara or Agnisar Kriya, kind of building up to it, right? So once again, this is a great practice to try to work every day. I'm doing it for 30 days straight, and every one we get a little bit deeper, a little bit more. So you can hold the block in between your thighs, not at your knees, right in between your thighs. And then we're coming to modified chair pose, modified fierce pose. Bend into your knees. Your elbows are straight. So elbows aren't bent. Elbows are straight. So it's just like your upper body is just hanging on your limbs, right? So your arms really are what's supporting your upper body. So inhale, everything relaxes. Exhale, adduct thighs to the block. Pull the Mula Bandha. It's like a little mini spinal flex of that lower back, right? And then exhale, release. You're like, Kristen, am I doing anything? Yes, you are. Inhale, lengthen the spine, relax. Let yourself hang on the extremities. And then exhale, really engage, right? Over time, the chin will naturally come into Jalandhara Bandha with this Mula Bandha. And then allow yourself to release. So it's Mula, Uddiyana, Jalandhara. We're eventually doing them all, but here, just get used to it. Inhale, you relax. Exhale, squeeze the block, squeeze Mula Bandha, lower belly up and in, maybe little spinal flex, and then inhale, relax, and let go. Let's go from here 9 more times. Release the practice and stand up. Soft micro bend in your knees. So I'm working on getting my yogic squat back. I cannot do it unsupported at this time. You may be able to. So from here, allowing ourselves, remember these are all little kriyas. Kriya means energy and action. So instead of these huge movements, it's more about the smaller energetic movements from the inside out. And the action of moving out of possible confusion and doing them with greater and greater stability and solidarity every time. I've already seen an amazing shift just within 6 days of how my body understands and really works these poses. So now from here, working this garland pose, also known as the Muladhara squat. This is your inhale. As you exhale, you press your inner knees, straighten the arms out, fingertips forward. Inhale, drop back in, thumbs to heart. Exhale, start to let it go. 9 rounds. Finishing up your last round. And then once you are ready, removing the block if you need to. And then coming back and down into your interim Savasana. Beginning to wiggle your fingers and toes, allow your wrists and your ankles to rotate. Inhale, arms rise up and overhead, knees draw into your heart. Wrap around your knees, gently start to rock from the right to the left. If you need to, rock to one side and then allow yourself to lift up. If you would like to rock back and forth, cross your ankles at this time and begin to rock back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And inhale, rise your way up, and then allow yourself to come to Dandasana or staff pose. So Janu Shirshasana, need a head pose, allowing yourself to draw your right leg in, hug it in, and then let it turn out to the side, right sole of the foot to the inner left thigh. So interlace your fingers. For me, this is the one place where props, I could have had a strap, but I didn't grab it right. That would help me. And a lot of people do need this to sit on something here, but that does not help me personally. So if you need to bring your blanket back in and sit on it for a little bit more hip lift, go right ahead. So interlace your fingers. So to warm this up, inhale, grow tall. Exhale, reach for your foot. So a few rounds, inhale, rise tall. Exhale, reach, reach. Inhale, rise, lift, warm it up. Exhale, reach, reach. Inhale, rise and lift. Exhale, you reach, you reach. So there should be none of this, right? You want to make sure that your shoulders are level. Allow the foot to be flexed. And then once again, you always have the choice. Do I want to just go with the pose? Does my mind have enough with the physical asana and trying to get everything aligned? Or am I comfortable enough and am I at a barrier of first resistance that's comfortable and I may just naturally grow deeper? And as I inhale, I relax, and as I exhale, I pull the Mula Bandha. Come to your edge and maybe find that primordial pulse. And as you know, you can always keep a soft bend in your left knee. And we're not only getting rid of the I shouldn't or the I should, I have to, I want, also the I can't, right? There are so many people where I just see the I can't when they start to come into a forward fold. You can. Maybe it's just as simply as a bending the knee. That makes you feel like a grandma or a grandpa or whatever, right? It doesn't matter. Just hold it at your first barrier of resistance. And over time, whether that is 5 seconds, 5 minutes, 5 weeks, 5 months, 5 years, 50 years, all of a sudden you will be in full head to knee, knee to head pose. And on an inhale, release, Baddha Konasana. So Baddha Konasana is bound angle pose. Supta Baddha Konasana is when you're lying down. So I prefer the little up and down with the butterflies. You're more than welcome to inhale, close, exhale, release to the floor. You want to try to do this at least 3 rounds. Go back to the fluttering if you feel like this is a little bit too much. And realize this right knee has been bent for a little bit. So lengthen your legs back out into your Dandasana. And then gather your left knee in. Hug it in just for a moment. Grow tall through the spine. And then do the best you can. Left sole of foot to the inner right thigh. If you need more modification, you can kick that left leg out if that knee hurts. You can also bring this left foot down to the inside of the calf, just not right on the inside of the knee joint. So warming it up same way, you can have a strap, you can bend the knee if you need to. Inhale, rise your arms, grow tall. Exhale, reach towards the foot. Inhale, grow yourself nice and tall. Exhale, reach for the foot. Inhale, rise it up. Exhale, reach. One more round. Inhale, rise it up. Exhale, exhale, come to your barrier of first resistance. So remember, that could be here too, right? I've also done it. See, my shoulders are still in one line as I have one hand on the foot and one hand on the inner knee. So you just have to remember to keep everything even. The other thing I've done, gaining more flexibility in forward folds, is grab onto where I can with my hands or a strap and do my upper spinal flexion, right? So then there's more of a translation. Also, when I come to a point of fear or that point of resistance where I just want to pop out, I start to move the spine with the breath instead of just irk myself out of the posture. The ego or the asmita, right? We're trying to clear the asmita. Oftentimes comes in, steals our practice, and makes us come out when we really, with our friend of the breath, the higher booty mind, could have stayed there just for a couple seconds longer. If you can, drop your knee to your head to your knee. A few more breaths. Inhale, rise, and coming to bound angle. Once again, you can softly flutter out your knees or 3 times. Lift them up and in. Exhale, release to the floor. Inhale, rise it up. Exhale, release. Inhale, rise it up and in. Exhale, come to release. So now from here, feet come out in front of you and then draw back. So you might want to have the feet actually more kind of as wide as your mat space. This isn't super available to me, right? Going fully down to either side, working on it. So just tick-tock those legs back and forth. Let's come over to the left side here. And then as you're ready, so the top of the left foot is on the top of the right thigh. Right hand comes to the left knee and begin your twist. And exhale, come through center, hands back behind you. Once again, a tick-tock from side to side. And then as you're ready, coming to the right side, right slow foot to the top of the left thigh, and then allow yourself left hand twist around to the right knee, and then allow yourself to find the twist through the body. before we sit back, allowing ourselves to chant to Ganesh and the removal of all barriers. So, Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam, like gum you chew, Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. So we'll start with an Om. I'm going to chant it pretty quickly 9 times, and then we'll end with an Om. You can listen the first time. Since it's a recording, you can also listen and then bring it back to the start of the chant to do it audibly if you wish. Bring your hands to your heart center. Remember Om. Chant to Ganesh 9 times and then end with an Om. In this moment, I ask all barriers to release and be removed. Exhale. Inhale to chant. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. 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 Releasing the hands down. Inhale, opening the eyes. Our final cleansing breath will actually be after our final Savasana. So as you are ready, come to your final Savasana. This one will be longer, so if you need to cover up and lying down on your back space. So moving out of our Savasana space with our three-part Pawanmuktasana. So starting to move through your fingers, through your wrists, through your toes, and through your ankles. And then as you're ready, draw your right knee into your right shoulder, waking up your lower back space just a little bit more. Maybe here, start to roll your ankles just a little bit. First one direction and then followed by the other direction. Pull that right knee in towards that right shoulder just a little bit more, and then release your right leg. As you're ready, bring that left knee in towards that left shoulder, interlace your fingers to the webbing, and really draw that left knee down and in towards that left shoulder. Once again, maybe begin to roll through your ankles just a little bit each way, a couple times to the right, and then a couple times to the left. Really pull that left knee down and in towards your left shoulder, and just a little bit more, just a little bit more, and then release your left side down. Inhale, arms rise up, above, overhead. As your arms rise up and above, overhead, draw your knees into your heart space center. So wrap your hands, arms around your knees. And then once again, allow yourself to rock side to side, side to side, side to side. Couple of times. If you'd like to, roll over to one side and pull yourself up. Keep hugging your knees in close though. Really pull them in one more time. And then if you would like to, the last time, your ankles cross, and then gently begin to rock and roll on the spine. Rock and roll on the spine, forward and back, forward and back, forward and back. Once you're ready, either from your side or rocking forward and back, rock all the way up to your seated position. So as you come to your seated position, you're more than welcome once again to sit on a blanket. And coming into our final cleansing breath of our Nadi Shodhana. So it's called alternate nostril breathing. Remember, it's just a slight covering of either nostril as you move from side to side. And bringing the peace fingers of the right hand up to your third eye space, massaging the third eye, maybe each direction. Covering the right nostril with the right thumb, inhale through the left. Cover the left nostril, exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Cover the right nostril, exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Cover the left nostril and then exhale through the right. Inhale through the right nostril. Cover the right nostril and then exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Covering the left nostril and then exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Cover, exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Cover, exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. And then exhale through the left. Inhale left. Cover, exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Cover, exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Cover, exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Cover, exhale through cover. Exhale, right. Inhale, right. Cover. Exhale, left. Last round. Inhale, left. Cover. Exhale, right. Inhale, right. Cover. And exhale, left. Close your eyes for a moment. Release the right arm down. So once again, we just did that 9 times. Relax into it. Notice that it settles in the body. Once again, noticing any resistance. Alternate nostril breathing. Really, really good for brain balancing. So just as you release this practice, it helps us cleanse and purify everything that we did through this practice. Come back to ourself and just a little bit more, and also back to our reality. So as you're ready, allow yourself to find an exhale, and just remembering on that Nadi Shodhana, it's really important not to try to lengthen your breath at all or change it in any way, but just allow yourself to keep with your natural breath without any need to do or change. So finding our final 2 breaths together. As we're ready on an inhale, arms rise up and overhead till the palms touch. And then as you exhale, drawing your thumbs to your heart, chin to bow. Inhale, final breath inwards. And as you exhale, bowing forward and down. Namaste.